everybody, and welcome to Under the Arch Sports. My name is David Woldingen, and today we're going to be talking about St. Louis City SC. However, before we do that, please remember to hit subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. Now, St. Louis ended up winning against Real Salt Lake 4-0, again on the road. And again, making the league scratch their heads, quite honestly. Folks, this is not your typical expansion team. They have now tied a record from best start, or continue to break their record for best start of an expansion team. And I just have some different things of note to go through real quick with you guys. City SC becomes the sixth team in MLS history to open a season with multiple goals in each of the first 5 games, and the first to do so since both LAFC and Toronto FC in the 2019 season. City SC has a league high 11 goal differential through 5 games this season, which is the best start in MLS history. Edward Loven recorded his 4th assist of the season against Real Salt Lake, which is tied for first in the MLS. Goalkeeper and captain Roman Berkey recorded his 2nd clean sheet of the season after making 8 saves in a match against Real Salt Lake. Joe Klaus now has 5 goals and an assist in 5 games so far this season. He has scored or assisted in all 5 of St. Louis City's matches this season, which is just phenomenal. Next, St. Louis City has scored 15 goals in the league, which is the most goals by any team this season. City's 15 goals have tied the record for the most goals in history throughout the first 5 games of a season. And then finally, with his goal against Real Salt Lake, Rasmus Alm became City's 8th goal scorer this season. I think it's safe to say that this team is going to be a force to be reckoned with throughout the season. How good they are and how they finish up is yet to be seen. This is a long, grueling season, and right now every game we're playing is a week apart, but they get tighter where there's a stretch of a game every 4 or 5 days. With the style that this team plays as a high-pressing team constantly on the attack, depth is going to be key as the season goes on, as people get hurt, as people leave for other obligations and international play here and there. And it's going to be quite a season to watch. But building up a lead like they have to start the season is really just solid, because now they're in the driver's seat for what happens during the rest of the season. Just to give you an idea, they sit atop the Western Conference with 15 points. Seattle, the next closest team, is at 10, and then LAFC, who won the whole thing last year, sits with 10 points as well. A couple other things worth noting here is the team, again, is first with 15 goals scored, 3rd in the league with 73 shots, first in the league with 35 shots on target. They're averaging 3 goals per game, which is first. And then after that, they kind of drop off in the rankings. Their passing accuracy is set at 71%. They're 27th in the league. Possession-wise, they're sitting at 43%, which is 27th. Goals conceded, they're tied, or they're fifth in the league, only giving up 4. 14 saves, which is 15th in the league, and 2 clean sheets, which is 5th in the league. You're going to see this, especially with the way this team plays offense, with the high pressing game. They're going to give up some defensive chances, and they're probably going to end up giving up some goals. But if they continue scoring at the rate they are in the games they're scoring in, I don't foresee a major issue with what this team is doing, quite honestly. The game against Real was kind of a good one. It took them a good 45 minutes. In other words, the first half, to really get things going. They kind of started out flat and really didn't get their pressing game going. And then once they finally did get it going and putting on the pressure, they started creating havoc. And I think when you start seeing this team score goals, is usually going to be in the second half when teams start losing their legs, getting tired, and making poor snap decisions. It's worth noting that they've been given 3 bad turnover gifts, all to Joe Klaus, who has capitalized on all 3 of those. Two were backward passes to the goalie right to him, and then one was just a terrible pass across that Klaus intercepted and took him for a goal against Salt Lake. So the high pressure is getting the teams. The big thing is it sustainable all season? As an expansion team, you can start taking the label off, especially in the next couple of games of the expansion team, and saying this team is for real. And the reason why I say that is they're going to have a tough stretch here of a couple of games that will give us a good idea where this team actually is at and if they can continue this streak. The next game is at home, April 1st, against Minnesota United. They play Seattle Sounders, who are on a roll, winning 3 in a row, who are second behind St. Louis City in the Western Conference, as is right now. So this is going to get a real taste to see how this style of play fares against some of the higher end teams in the league. Not saying the teams we played aren't higher end, but it's early in the season, so it's still hard to judge how good these teams are, mainly because some of these teams are still getting organized and found. Some of the success the St. Louis City team had, I think, quite honestly, has been overlooked. Basically, because of the City 2 team sitting the second squad they have, the one that plays in the next cup or whatever they call it. The team started last year in that league, and you have Roman Berkey and some of the other players playing on that team, getting the style that they play instilled into them with that next cup team, getting ready for this season. So while it is an expansion team, a lot of these players have had a year or so in this system already, and they've had a year or so to get used to each other before they play on the main squad. And I think because of that reason, this team is surprising a lot of people because of how cohesive and well they play together. But you got to remember, some of these guys have been here for a year or more now and have already been used to the system. It's not something they're learning on the fly. Like I said, though, this next stretch is going to be really telling for the season, in my opinion, because they're playing some of the top end teams in the league so far this season, based on the results that are happening. I look not only against Minnesota next week, but the week after that against Seattle. If they can pull those 2 wins off and get this up to a 7-game winning streak, now you can start looking at maybe a contender, not only making the playoffs, but making a run for the cup altogether. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. We'll keep you updated as this team progresses throughout the season. And for now, thank you for watching Under the Arch Sports.